This is what's left of the Hart Butte store. And I'm surprised the old foundation stones are still there. And you can see the outline. Right in front here was the living room and the kitchen. And you can see the stairs, or the walkway there where the stones were. And where the girls are right now, they're standing on the wall between the bedroom and the store. And then further on down, the end of the stuff that you can see, that was the ware room there. Girls, let me tell you a story about this. See this hill behind us here? Girls, are you listening?
Yeah.
See this hill behind us here? Well, when I was 6 years old living here, I thought that hill was real steep. And I'd take my wagon up to the top of the hill and ride it down to the store here. And there were some prairie dogs in the hill one day. And Grandpa Elton wanted to get rid of the prairie dogs. And so he went up to the top of the hill where the prairie dog hole was. And he dumped 3 or 4 gallons of gasoline in the prairie dog hole. And he waited a couple minutes, and then he threw a match down there. And when he did, fire shot out of the hill at about 30 places along here where there were prairie dog holes in there that were covered up real good and kind of under the sagebrush and stuff. And the prairie dogs were all through that hill, and fire just shot out almost everywhere as the gas exploded. Kiana's standing in the ware room, and Rebecca's just leaving the store, and I'm standing in the main house, which as I look at it, it wasn't very big. Looks like it was probably about 14 by 20 at the most. The well was out here, and that's where we had the sheep pasture. And if you look on around, you can see on the skyline, you can see power lines. And that's where the highway comes through. And that's about a mile from the Presley Ranch there. Okay, Grandma Sally is on the corner of the store, or of the living room, and I'm on the far corner of the ware room, and so this is the whole length of the building. And Kiana is on the other corner of the ware room, so that's the width, not longer than it is wide. And Kelsey is standing on the wall between the ware room and the store. Sally, come to the next wall here, please. And Rebecca is standing on the wall between the store and the bedrooms. And Grandma is standing on the wall between the bedroom and the living room. So there was the living room, kitchen, then the bedroom, then the store, and then the ware room. And those, yeah, that's the one at the bedroom. And those 3 posts you can see sticking out there. The closest one was part of the hitching post where the Indians tied their horses and wagons. And the far 2, that's part of the sheep corral where Grandpa Elton kept the sheep and the goats that the Indians brought in to trade. This store, this is where the banana pie story took place. Before I forget here, let me tell you where we're at. We're at latitude 35, 41, 51. 35 degrees, 41 minutes, 51 seconds. We're at longitude 108 degrees, 00 minutes, 22 seconds. Now, this is where we had the banana pie story. And we were living in the little part of the house there, and we were really poor. We didn't have any money. And what little bit of money Grandpa had, he needed to have it to buy stock for the store. so that we'd have something to sell to the Navajos when we got the store built. And so we didn't have much money for groceries, but that was a good year for cottontail rabbits. And so every morning, Grandpa would go out and he'd shoot a couple of rabbits. And so for breakfast, we'd have rabbit and potatoes and biscuits and beans. And for lunch, we'd have rabbit and potatoes and biscuit and beans. And then supper was different. We had variety then. For supper, we had beans and biscuits and potatoes and rabbit. And every night after supper, Grandpa would push his chair back and he'd say, "Oh, if I just had a piece of banana cream pie to top that off with," because that was his favorite, was banana cream pie. And so one day, Grandpa Presley was going to town, and Grandma Edna asked him to get 2 bananas from the store. And she was going to surprise Grandpa Elton. So she got 2 bananas, and then she went up and said, "Oh, I got to go visit my daddy for a little bit." And she went over to the store, or to the Presley Ranch, and she got those 2 bananas, and she got a couple of eggs from Grandma Presley, and she made a big banana cream pie. And she stuck it up in the cupboard to hide it. And Grandpa Elton came in after working in the store all day, and he ate his rabbit and beans and potatoes and biscuits, and he pushed back his chair and he said, "Oh boy, that would be great if we just had a piece of banana cream pie." And Grandma reached up in the cupboard and she grabbed the pie and she says, "Ta-da!" And she twirled around with that pie, and she stopped too quick, and the pie flew out of the pie tin and landed upside down on the floor. And Grandpa Elton looked at it and he said, "Well, shit." And you know what we did? We scraped that pie up off the floor and we ate it anyway. Okay, this is the foundation where they poured the concrete to set the well. And we had the well, and you can see a couple of pieces of angle iron there. That's where the windmill set. We drilled the well here, and we hoped we'd hit artesian water like Granddaddy Presley had up at the ranch, but we didn't. All we got was the same old alkali water, but we had to pump it. And so they put the windmill on there and pumped it. And then this real green grassy area you see right here that's a little low, that's where the pond was, where we watered the sheep and the stock. We also had a metal tank probably 7 feet around and 4 or 5 feet deep that the windmill pumped into, and then it ran out of that tank into the pond. And we used to swim in that tank a lot. Okay, when I was little, I used to walk a lot. Now, I'm not sure why Grandma let me get away with it, because I was only 6 years old, 5 and a half to 6. And I remember I walked to Hart Butte one time, which you can see in the distance there, and tried to find a way to climb to the top of the butte. And I went around that thing 2 or 3 hours. At 6 years old, never did find a way. And another time, Grandma and Grandpa were going to go to Gallup. Or no, I guess they were going to the ranch. They were going to the ranch for supper. And so I said I wanted to walk to the ranch. And Grandma said, "You can't walk to the ranch." And I said, "Sure I can." And so I took my wagon and I put a can of peaches in there and some crackers and some Vienna sausages so I could have lunch. Now, the ranch is further than what you can see the horizon there. I'll have to go back and check, do some computations, but I believe that it's close to 18 to 20 miles to the ranch from here. And so I took off walking. And Grandma and Grandpa got real busy in the store. And they kept going to go, and another Indian would come, and then they were going to go, and another Indian would come. And pretty soon it's almost 5 o'clock, and Mother's getting worried. I wonder what happened to Jerry. I hope a snake didn't bite him or something. And so they finally shut the store down, and they started up to the Presley Ranch. and they got up to what we called the corner, and there was another little well there. We called it the corner because there was a township corner there. I didn't learn that until later years, until I became a surveyor. And they started up, they saw where I'd stopped at the corner, and I'd eaten my peaches and my Vienna sausages and left the cans there. Didn't pick up my garbage very good. And they kept on going, and Grandpa Preston looked out, and he saw me walking down there, and so he came down to give me a ride to the ranch from the highway. And it was another mile from the highway to the ranch. And he said, "Get in, Button." He always called me Button. He said, "I'll give you a ride." And I says, "Nope, Grandpa, I said I was going to walk." And he tried to get me to ride, and I said, "Nope, I said I was going to walk." And so he drove behind me for a little while, and then he went on to the ranch, and I walked all the way to the ranch house that night. I was 6. And that's the truth.